Hi everybody. This is a video for parents of children under the age of 3 and grandparents who might be caregivers or spend a lot of time with your grandchildren and want to help them out. The graph I have with the high quality graphics is a graph representing the 18-year period from birth to the age of 18. Those are the numbers on the bottom, 1, 2, 3, 5, 10, and 18. And the numbers on the right in red and blue, 85, 99, 100, 115, 130, 140, 150, and 160 are some IQ benchmark levels that you may or may not come across in the testing arena. A lot of parents get their children tested for IQ, although I disagree with the practice. It does help out the kids that test high. It does not help out the kids that test low, and that's why I disagree with it, because what happens, you can't see it on the graph, but in green, the green blocks represent blocks of opportunity. It's courses and individual lessons that I have or that you can develop on your own, designed to impart specific skills that your child will really use. These would be the gateway skills, that are skills that lead to other learning opportunities. And if you don't have those skills, you don't get the opportunities that are above them. For example, if you wanted to read 14th century French poetry, you have to learn French first. And then you get to enjoy the poetry. If you have some engineering you want to learn, then you have to learn the math and the physics behind it. So without the prerequisite, you don't get to learn the other things. So in the graph here, the blue line on the right is meant to represent the very small segment of people that actually reach the much higher levels as recorded by IQ. Now, IQ is a fake element of measurement. And I call it fake because what it does is it takes learned skills and then it records how long you took to do them and decides that that is how smart you are forever. And it simply doesn't work like that. And there's no use in arguing with the people that think it does, because it just doesn't improve anything. They're not going to change their mind, and I don't have the inclination to spend the time trying to do so. I can show you much quicker how to take your child from the average or below average range of ability and propel them and transform them to the highest levels of ability before I'll change their minds that such a thing is possible. So, I mean, really, why bother? So, what happens is the red lines on the bottom represent roughly half the population would test as below average. The average is in the midway point. And so these individuals generally don't have as many opportunities, and when they do, they're not very good opportunities. The individuals that are in the higher ranges, the 160 IQ range, 150, 140, these are considered genius level individuals, and they sometimes get very special opportunities that the rest of us don't get. However, everything they do, they learned how to do. And so what we're going to try to do is to show you how, if you start here in the first year of life for your child, and we learn some very specific language skills, communication skills, some conceptual skills. And then the next year, between the ages of 1 and 2, we learn some more. And then the age of 2 to 3, you learn some more. What's happening is we're building up your child's ability to do these higher level and more complicated things earlier than if we simply did nothing at all and let them randomly pick up things on their own. One of the things about IQ, I write on Quora, and I'll disagree with people on there and they'll disagree with me because they have belief systems that don't have any facts behind them. And they can have these, I don't care. But what happens is most of the IQ tests are taken when a child is old enough to read and write, and then the reading and writing becomes a major factor in their score. People that are blind generally can't be tested through IQ tests because they don't read the same way, and that influences the test. So what happens is, for this badly drawn scale, what you're going to get in the development of your child is going to be a combination of random events outside of your control and the controlled events that you provide. In terms of how high a quality development people get through random events, there's statistically very, very few individuals that develop a very high level of ability simply by getting these random events. And they're terrible odds. So for the few people that get that, they're very lucky. If you really want to rely on luck, you can do that. Most people don't know they have a choice. And so what the choice is I have, and you can too, we reverse engineer all the traits we want our 18-year-old to have by the time they're an adult, and we backtrack and we set up a series of lessons so that we can get those qualities and those skills by the time they're 18. This is independent of school. I mean, you can certainly give extra classes going over academics, but there's many other skills that we want well-developed, well-rounded people to have that take decades to develop once we pass the age of 18. And the reason is, for example, I'm going to point to the chart here. Somewhere in this range, this is between the ages of 5 and 10. 115, the 115 IQ is the upper band of average. There's a lot of qualities in that band that go across this way that if we don't teach any of these other subjects, the person will develop along the line that public school or private school teaches, and they will stay in that 115 range. And it's an artificial number, but it really denotes a certain level of groups of skills. And then if you say, well, I want my child to be really, really smart. Being really, really smart is not the only good quality to have, but it opens up other good qualities that can be developed. And it removes a lot of the problems that kids suffer through in school and in the adolescent years. Because communication, if we start teaching good communication in these years, 1, 2, and 3, really good communication, this automatically takes us throughout the rest of that period of life with a baseline of communication above average already. And as we continue to keep teaching more and more things progressively, by the time we get up here, they will have learned all sorts of things which people identify with being really smart genetically, but it's really due to this period of instruction over the course of their lives. Because we can't control the genes, but we can absolutely control all the things that you're going to teach them. And so I've set up those courses and those coaching sessions to show you, to teach you what you can teach your children, in addition to school, friends, or any other caregivers, so that they can have the most opportunities possible, and you can have a healthy, happy, loving family that enjoys many of the opportunities that most people will miss out on. So that's it for now. Have a good evening. Like and follow where appropriate. Have a good night.